This is Mary Lane on the Buying Space channel. Today, I'm reading to you from the Torah, or the Pentateuch, which is Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. I've missed one. Hold on. I consider myself, and rightfully so, a neophyte, a theological neophyte, but I'm a curious neophyte. Yes, there's Genesis. Exodus is next. Let's see what's after Exodus. Is it Numbers? Wow, Exodus is very long. Okay. Leviticus is after Exodus, and then Numbers, and then Deuteronomy, which I say incorrectly. Forgive my southernisms. But I'm going to start in Genesis 1:1 in a moment. It's the creation story. Now I'm going to put this Good News Catholic Bible out for display, but this is what I'm actually reading from. It has Hebrew on this side and English on this side. And I wouldn't call this book, excuse me, exactly call this book a Torah. It's been taped. It's been well loved. The inscription in this, I believe, is from 1935. It's this very old book, but in addition to the Torah, or the first 5 books of the Bible, it also has other reading selections, and even in the back, unfortunately it's been torn out, there was music. And this was received as a bar mitzvah gift by someone from their aunt, and it was passed down and ended up, I believe, in a storage unit in Florida, and then was sold at auction. And then it was sold at auction again to me in a religious lot, or Hebrew lot, from Paul Antonelli. But the Genesis story starts in Genesis 1:1 and goes to Genesis chapter 2, verse 3. And then it goes into a Torah dot. Let me go to 2 and 3 and make sure that I'm telling you the right information. Remember, I'm a religious neophyte. Yes, because in verse 4 of chapter 2, it says, "These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, and on the day the Lord made earth and heaven." So this starts the generation from Adam well, the begets haven't started yet. I don't think they start till chapter 5, but it tells of the story of Cain and of the first people, the descendants of Adam and Eve, and how their family started. I don't believe it's an all-inclusive story. I think there are big gaps missing. If you have ever heard about, or even had an inkling about the Book of Enoch, some people believe it's a real scripture, some don't. but it is an old text and it should be respected. Even if you don't put your faith in that it's part of the Holy Bible. It's at minimum another religious book that should be read and studied, and I haven't done that yet. I'm wading in more familiar waters. Now, if you're talking to an Israeli that's Jewish, or anyone Jewish, whether it be by conversion or blood, they are very picky who is able to be called Jewish, and rightfully so. You don't say that the Torah is the Old Testament to them, even though it's the Old Testament to Christians. It's like if you want to get along with people, you look at things that are the same. And I absolutely can say as a Christian who believes in the Old and New Testament that the first 5 books of the Bible are the Torah as well. So why not, in discussing anything with someone that's Jewish, look at terms from their perspective? I mean, unless they're a Messianic Jew who is an individual who used to be Jewish that now converted to Christ, they accept the Old Testament, New Testament. Their children would still be Messianic Jewish because because their parents were, and they're from a traditional Jewish family. I don't know how many generations would pass before they would still consider themselves Jewish, since they are now Christian Jews, which, they were in the beginning. The 12 disciples were Christian Jews. So, and they would just consider themselves Christian now. Their descendants, most likely. I mean, well, in that many generations, who knows what all that could have happened. But you get my drift. So let me begin. There is one more thing I wanted to say, and I'll probably say this more than once during my reading of this Torah. Science and religion do not conflict. As we read this passage today, I want you to think about the order that an atheistic evolutionist would take in the biological diversity of our planet today. What order, if you get out those charts, what order are things evolved in? And if you look at it in general terms, of course, the Torah was written thousands of years ago. So if you look at things in the order in the Bible and the order on an evolutionary chart, of course, it'd be in general terms, because if you include every species, it becomes too crowded. You're going to find the order is the same in the creation story and in evolution. Let us begin. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God divided between light and darkness. And God called daylight, and the darkness He called night. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was the evening, and there was the morning, one day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide between the waters and waters. And God made the firmament and divided between the waters which were under the firmament and the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. It was so. And God called the dry land earth, and gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, herbs yielding seeds, fruit trees bearing fruit, after their kind, wherein is the seed therein upon the earth. And so it was. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, herbs yielding seed, after their kind, and trees bearing fruit, within is a seed of after their kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was an evening, and there was a morning, the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide between the day and night, and let there be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And this is a page turner, folks. On the second page, the Hebrew in this Bible is on the right and the English on the left. Very interesting. And you go from the back of the book like you read manga. This is the back. This is the front. See how this is bound? And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater lights rule by day, and the lesser light to rule by night, and the stars. And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule the day and the night, and divide between the light and the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was a morning, the fourth day. And God said, let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let fowl fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heaven. And God created the sea monsters and every living creature that moveth, wherewith the waters swarm after their kind, and every winged fowl after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply on the earth. And there was an evening, and there was a morning, the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures, after their kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after their kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after their kind, and the cattle after their kind, and every living thing that creepeth upon the earth after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and they shall have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the heavens, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. And God created man in his image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he him. He them. And God blessed them. Then God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the heaven, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given to you every herb yielding seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree on which fruit of the tree is yielding seed. To you it shall be for food. And to every beast of the earth, and every fowl of the heaven, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning on the sixth day. And that is chapter 1 of Genesis from the Torah. Thank you for listening.